When? I should leave now. Need to go through some documents. Obviously, Jungkook noticed there was a sudden uneasiness in Van's behavior. She avoided eye contact with him and even she left without him. What happened to this girl? He mumbled and zoomed the closed circuit camera's view in his monitor. There was no appointment for her in the evening, so she just busied herself in the emergency ward. She started helping the nursing staffs. Of course, it's good to help, but there was something when trying to hide. Something was making her impulsive. Jungkook's concentration was fixed on Van's movements, and about this fact Van was completely unaware, though she was too professional to hide her insecurities. Is she behaving like a crazy creature just for the mate thing? He was confused because an economically established woman can't behave so weird. Of course, it was related to her past. She was trying hard to hide from everyone, especially from Jungkook. He doubted that her adoptive parents might also be unknown about the actual incident, but they must be aware of her weird behavior. With a smooth swipe, he unlocked his phone and dialed Van's parents' number. Van's mom. 여보세요. Jungkook. 여보세요. Van's mom. Did you fight again? Jungkook. No, but I called you cause I want to surprise her with her favorite meat dish. I don't know and I don't think it would be a good option to ask her directly. Van's mom. Van usually never touched the bowl of meat. She used to prefer the vegetables cooked with the meat. It means she is not allergic to meat, so we thought she doesn't like it that much. We actually avoid that cause she doesn't eat. Jungkook couldn't believe that they had noticed such small things about the girl in spite of having their own son. Yet it made him more suspicious about her. Thanking Van's mom, Jungkook disconnected the call. He fixed his eyes on the monitor again. Van was studying the patient's file before entering into the changing room for the pre-scheduled operation. She was looking more calm, more concentrated. Jungkook sighed in relief because during her duty hours, she puts her personal emotions aside. After finishing the scheduled surgery, there was no more appointments pending for that day. Looking at her pale face, the nursing staff requested her to take some rest. Don't forget to call me if anything happens. I requested her and decided to go to the rooftop for some fresh air. Of course, one didn't have any idea that Jungkook was watching her each and every movement. Though she was aware of his caliber, but at that moment she could only felt the urge of breaking down. Jungkook was frozen at his spot. He wanted to hug her desperately, but he stopped himself. Even though they were bounded in the relationship of equality, but it was her time, the time she needed to spend with herself to overcome from the situation happening in her mind. After a long time, she was calmed down and went to the ward. There was no report of complications from the patients, but the nursing staff flinched. Looking at her appearance, her red eyes that she couldn't hide, though her pale face was hidden under the surgical mask. The nursing staff, Dr. Vine, you please take some rest. You can go back to your dorm. Vine nodded and about to move, but remembered Jungkook must be in the room, sleeping or working, must be tired. Looking at the glass window, one managed to find her reflection, decided to stay in the nap room. But still, Jungkook's eyes were fixed on the monitor, and Van's body gradually relaxed as she closed her eyes. At this moment, Jungkook could feel that he should not let her to sleep there. though she was in the nap room, but he could feel that one wanted him, one needed his warmth. Enough, Mrs. John. I don't care if anyone sees me or not, but I want my wife beside me. Jungkook couldn't stop himself from going out from their shared room with his casual attire and opened the door of the nap room. It was 9. At about 2 a.m. in December, drowsy Van could feel a strong arm gripping her body. The familiar scent from the masculine figure made her choked as she realized that she was in the nap room. She didn't dare to open her eyes, but her poor acting skills made him to smile. I don't care who are watching us. I want my wife beside me. Cook took her into his embrace and pecked on her lips before walking out from the nap room. He carried her through the chilled corridor in his embrace. When tightened her grip on his nightshirt. I know you are awake, he whispered. I don't want to open my eyes. I'm too sleepy, Van mumbled. Jungkook managed to open the door while carrying her in bridal style. Aren't you afraid of? He asked while laying down her on the bed. For what? Van opened her eyes, sensing the strong light, and closed her eyes again. Smiled in satisfaction as Jungkook's face was just in front of her. Do you want the lights on? He asked. Just remembered something from the past. I'm not afraid of the dark though. Van finally opened her eyes. Jungkook, I'm not forcing you to share it with me, but Van, if I think about that incident, Jungkook, I will not judge you, but trust me, it hurts. Jungkook laid beside her and took her into his embrace. So, if you think about that incident, I was not too young to forget about that incident. I was in the boarding school, though my mom and dad told me to stay with them, but I preferred to stay away from them. Mom just lost her baby and I somehow felt guilty. The first night, there was something delicious looking dish was prepared and everyone was excited. I didn't know what I did, but I was not given that. It was winter, it was cold, and they poured ice water on my bed. I couldn't sleep on the bed for many days. The floor was also cold, and I didn't have any extra blanket. Those nights were cold. It was it was the Christmas season. My two roommates were in their home, but I forgot what did I do? Did I not nod my head when they offered me that? Those nights were scary. I couldn't lock the room from inside. Those days I slept leaning my back on the door. I became nervous when you politely asked me about my favorite dish. I will not ask you about that anymore. He pecked on her lips. Do you still want to eat meat? I wish I could taste that, but I forgot what's that. Once voice was choked. How is your? Hmm, he asked about her health issues. I am all okay and sleepy. When closed her eyes. I have set the alarm at 5 o'clock in the morning. You have to do the morning rounds. He wrapped his arms around her waist after tucking themselves under the warm blanket. Cook? When called his name. Want something? He asked in a sleepy voice. A baby, like you. Van's tears already made his shirt wet. Now? You are not too healthy to make with me. He tried to make an eye contact. And what's about your work? You haven't announced your husband's name to your co-workers. Your sperms are getting wasted either way. What if? I want? She was stopped by him with a "My wife is weak, and don't worry, she knows how to use my." Now stop and close your eyes.